It's time to breathe again on the latest BOFA Sports Shortie. Ooh, that was hard to hit. That high note was hard to hit this early in the morning, but I was able to do it somehow, and we'll roll with it. So I am Charles Taylor, your host for this morning, and I am here to talk about a specific happening during the NFL's legal tampering period, which it is just everybody signing deals and doing everything they can to make sure they get their piece of the pie, more or less. But these things aren't supposed to become official till I think it's later this week or Wednesday. But the deals are pretty much done, and people are either re-signing with teams or going to different teams. Now we'll get into all of the nuts and bolts of the deals, what it means for teams going forward. Probably a little bit later on this evening when we get into the webcast. But what I wanted to discuss was one deal in particular, and it signals what life is all about, really. Now, you will hear us if you have been following this show, if you've subscribed to this product, you have heard Patrick and me discuss on multiple occasions how sports is part of life, not life itself. And in sports and in other aspects of life, whether you're talking about politics, entertainment, music, whatever it is, what you see is you see aspects of life in a lot of these examples. And that is the case when you are talking about the situation and the agreement on a deal between the Cleveland Browns and defensive end Myles Garrett. Now, Garrett is the all world defensive end. He was the 2023 Defensive Player of the Year. Last year, on a bad Browns team, he still managed to have 14 sacks. So the dude has been wildly productive, and over the course of the past month and a half or so, he had prior to signing this extension, this 4 year, $160 million extension that is 40 million annually and 123.5 guaranteed. Something like that. Yeah, like 123.5 guaranteed. So in that sense, what that is, it's a 3 year deal because, of course, in the NFL, it is about the guaranteed money you get and not necessarily what the annual value is, even though that is pretty close to what the annual value will be. But that year, that fourth year, basically acts as an option year if he decides that he's going to go ahead and do the deal, or if the Browns want to go ahead and release him, whatever the case. But in essence, it's a 3 year deal. But Myles Garrett was going around, particularly on Radio Row, during the Super Bowl in New Orleans about a month or so ago, talking about how he wanted to play for a contender, talking about how he wanted to be on a team and play in meaningful games and have the opportunity to compete for some championships. He had been with the Browns for 7 years, and I can understand where he might see what is going on with the Browns and he would want to leave because it does not look like the Browns are going to be competing for any type of championship anytime soon. But then all of a sudden, this deal comes up, and it looks like everything that Myles Garrett said was practically a lie. So, so here's the thing. The big thing to take away from this is money talks loudly. It does a lot of the times. And I don't think people have a problem with that because over time and in society, is particularly in today's age, it is about trying to make as much money as you can. People are trying to do what they can to get whatever payday, whatever they feel their market value is. At the very least, that's what they're trying to get. So Myles Garrett coming back and signing this deal, I don't think is a huge issue with people because we all want that type of payday. We want to go get that money and then try to get whatever material things, fancy house, fancy car, fancy yacht, private jet, a whole bunch of shoes or whatever it is that you want to have a huge supply of. It's one thing to tell us you're about the money because at least you're being honest about the situation. But it's another thing, and I think this is the part that people have an issue with. It's another thing where when you say it is not about the money, you are trying to compete, you want to go win. That is the biggest priority you have. And then you come back and do an action that says, nah, you're just like pretty much everybody else. It's about the money. So you basically said you signed where you was getting the most money because if it wasn't about that, then you would not have re-signed with the Browns. Obviously, he is re-signed with the Browns. Now the question is, what do the Browns do from here to get that team to competing for a Super Bowl? I don't know what they're going to do. I don't see anything that is happening that would put them in the running for that. I mean, I guess they have a decent defense. That's the one thing that's going well for them, but their team is not ready to compete for a Super Bowl. So I just find it kind of funny that Myles Garrett decided he was going to re-sign with them after saying adamantly he wants to be traded out. He was apparently reaching out to LeBron James to ask how he could leave Cleveland in some sort of dignity. It's a mess. But the main thing to take away from this is money talks loudly, and Myles Garrett is another example of that. And that is the part that is part of life. That's what we see in life. But at least admit that you're about the money, because coming out and saying you're not about the money, you're trying to go somewhere where you can win, where you can play for a contender, and then you come back to the Browns for the biggest contract for a non-QB. Wild. Super wild. Well, that is what I am breathing on for this morning. Y'all make sure y'all visit the BOFA Sports YouTube channel, smash that subscribe button, and follow the BOFA Sports Facebook page. We will be back later on tonight. I think Patrick should be back with me after being with his son to celebrate his birthday last week. And we look forward to seeing all y'all later on. So y'all take care, have a good day, and yeah, we'll see you later on tonight. All right.